Hey, how's it going? We're going to be talking about two different investing platforms today, M1 Finance and Stash. So before we get too started here, I want to say, don't forget to like the video if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Definitely helps us out. So we're going to dig right in, right? So with M1 Finance, a huge plus I want to say is that the platform is absolutely free. They don't charge you anything for M1 Finance. There's literally, you can look anywhere, you're not going to find a charge. It's an absolutely free platform, right? Which is cool. With Stash, I was looking and I found it under subscription, because this has changed since I used it. I haven't used the platform in a very long time, and it seems like they changed it. So I'm under like a custom thing they gave me, because I no longer have a personal investing account with them. I've moved it over to M1 Finance. And we're going to talk about that. But I do still have a custodial account for my son, right? So they still have some kind of a account here set up for me, a custom that gives me an investment account and a personal investment account, which I had noticed it seems like they don't really have an option but for that. But this is their options. They have a beginner account, which is $1 a month, and you get a personal investing account, debit account access to their debit account. You can earn stock back on their stock, account there with their card, and obviously the free financial education, right, that comes with their Stash Learn, right? So you can do that, or you can do the Stash Plus. Now this is where I see where it gets really expensive, because Stash Plus is $9 a month just to have your portfolio through them. Now I understand you get a personal investing account, you get a retirement account, and you get an investment account for 2 kids, right, for $9 a month. You get a debit account access, you earn stock back, you get this metal debit card with 2 times the stock back rewards, right? You get the free financial education, and you get monthly market insights reports, which is, that's great. But $9 a month, and you get a personal investing account with M1 for free. You get a retirement account through M1 for free. You get all this stuff for free. And we're talking about this, I might as well show you the M1 side. M1 also has M1 Spend, which is you get 1.5% interest on your money in your bank account, right? You get 1% back on all purchases, and your money is FDIC insured. Which with Stash, your money is also FDIC insured. I just wanted to bring that up, that it is FDIC insured. You can get, the nice thing about Stash, I guess, is that you can get direct deposit 2 days earlier than you normally get your check. So that's kind of a nice feature. Not worth $9 a month for it, to be honest with you, but for some people it might be. They say 0 hidden fees for your debit account. If you have an overdraft, there's no overdraft fees. So that's kind of nice too. It's going to save you some money on that. So that's cool, But the nice thing I gotta say, M1's going to take the cake on that, because getting your investing account for free, and people's going to say, oh, there's nothing free, there's nothing. Yeah, but see, M1 makes their money, but they make it in different ways. They're going to make it on market orders. So when you put your order in, there's big companies that are willing to pay to manipulate how that money order goes through, right? So they're making it on that. They're making it on the borrow feature, right? So they're going to make money on the interest rate you pay them if you take out a margin loan. So they're making it in that way. So they do make their money. They just make it a different way. And there is a way to do it absolutely free if you choose not to do those features, which is cool. Let's talk about trading windows. So M1 Finance only has one trading window, which is a major downfall for them. And that's that it's like 10 p.m. Eastern time, I think, is when it goes through. And that's it. So if you put your trading order in, that's it. If you miss it, you got to wait till the next day. If that's an unideal time of the day, that's, unfortunate, but that's when it's going through. And Stash has 2 different trading windows. So Stash has, I can't find the information on here, but I do know this because I used to use them. And they have 2 different trading windows, right? So one of them's at 9:45 a.m. and the other's at 3:30 p.m., right? So those are totally different parts of the day. You're going to get a different price. It's nice if you want to try to manipulate or order a little bit. Okay, I know it's going to go up a little by the end of the day. I know, whatever. People kind of like that, and I think it's kind of cool to have the option, right? So if you miss the first one, there's a second one you can put your order in. Or say the market tanks in the morning, and you're like, wow, it really tanked today. I want to put a buy order in. Yeah, that's kind of nice to have that feature, So that's pretty cool. I'm going to give Stash the point on that one, because to be honest with you, that is cool to have 2 trading windows. Another big thing to talk about is the amount of money you need to get started. So with M1 Finance, I believe you need about $100 to open a portfolio with them. I mean, $100 is not a ton of money, but for some people it might be, something to hold them back. They're only going to do a little bit at a time. I don't know. But I don't think it's that much to get started in investing. I really think, if you can't afford it, save up, try to get it. But I guess you could say a perk for Stash is that you can start your investing account with literally $5. So, I mean, you can't really beat that. And you can invest in increments as little as $5. So that's kind of a plus too. So now we're going to talk about fractional shares, right? Everybody wants to know that because, you got platforms like Robinhood where you can't. You got to buy whole shares or no shares of companies. Well, in this case with M1 and also with Stash, you're getting fractional shares with both of them. So you can buy a partial of a company. Say you don't have, let's say you want a blue chip company like Amazon, right? You don't have a few grand to drop down. Well, it's okay. You can drop down a few bucks, right? So with M1, I think the minimum you could put $10. And I think with Stash, I believe the minimum is $5. So you can buy partials. It's awesome. You could buy big name brand companies without the big name brand money, which is cool for both of them, right? Now with Stash, they don't have this feature, right? So they don't have a feature where you can borrow money or take out margin against your account. I mean, I've been looking. If you guys do know of one, definitely shout it out to me because I can't seem to find it. But I do know with M1, and that's what I use, they have the borrow feature, which allows you to take out margin against your account. So say you had, $100,000, you could take out $35,000 in a loan to yourself at right now 4% interest rate, right? And that's going to be affected by the Fed's fund rate. It's going to go up or down depending on what the Federal Reserve does. So before I was paying, I believe it was like 4.25%, and they dropped the rates and went down to 4%. Talking about another rate drop again, that'll be great. I'll save money on that. But it allows you to borrow money. So now a lot of people probably take that money, they'll spend it on something, whatever. It's a loan, so you don't have to sell your investments, which is cool. It's a great idea rather than sell them, take a loss, pay the taxes. But with this, what I like to do is I took the money, I borrowed $10,000 against my account. What I did with it was I borrowed some money and I put it back into the stocks, and it allowed me, increase my margin. I bought a few more, put it back. I know some of you are going to say, oh my God, don't do that. You're over leveraging yourself. But I mean, if you look at my maintenance call threshold, I'd have to drop, $15,000 before a maintenance call would happen on my margin. So I've got quite a bit of spread. I'm not too worried about that. I had to lose literally half of my value of my stock portfolio to have a maintenance call. So I think I'm in a good position. Another thing we want to talk about is the ease of use, right? So this is something that I'm going to definitely have to give to Stash. I started with Stash. It was really the first platform around at the time, and it's very intuitive and very easy to use, right? So I mean, you start up, you got $5, you buy something, you pick something. As you can tell, they've got the investments here. They've got ETFs. They've got this. You can just pick an ETF someone's already set up. You can say, hey, I'm going to pick different stocks. It's very intuitive. You just pick the stock. You pick, I want to put $5 in there. Done. You've done what you need to do, and you just do that every time you have money, right? So it's super easy to use. Everything's super, pretty basic to follow, But with M1 Finance, what happens is you get these things called pies, right? Oh, we're getting a little error here. See if we can get that to come back. Yeah, we got that to come back. All right, so we have our pies, right? And your pie is you pick the sections. You have to break it all apart. You have to pick, hey, I want this much money to go here. I want this much money to go here. So it is a little bit more work, and it's not as intuitive. And you kind of have to learn, like, hey, I got to set this percentage to this, and I got to do this. And I mean, it's not super hard once you learn it. But what it is it is a little more work when you first start and you're kind of new to investing. It's going to be kind of confusing. You go into here, you set up my pies, and you can make a pie, whatever, create new pie, and you start breaking it down by pieces. So I mean, it's not that bad. I'll do a video on explaining how to do it in the near future. But I mean, it's kind of nice. I like it because when I put my money in, I don't necessarily have to break down and think about it and do all the work. Like, hey, do I want to put 5 here? Do I want to put 5 here? What's lagging in the market? What's doing phenomenal? I don't need to put as much money in there. It kind of does that for me with the pie. So if I want to throw $100, I just throw $100 and it breaks it all apart and throws it where it needs to go, right? And that's kind of nice to have that ease. So I say stash is easier when you start, but as you're progressing with your investing, you're going to want to move to something that does that, like kind of like a robo-advisor. It does a lot of the work for you. You don't have to sit there and watch every single stock that you have, because it kind of watches it, and as it dips in price, it buys the dip, which is great. So I kind of like that, and they've got a new transfer feature, so when you want to move money, it's nice and easy. Nice research feature, and something that I actually didn't know they had is that you could filter what you're looking for in stocks when you're researching. So say you wanted, a PE ratio of, whatever, 6 low, and let's say you're looking for low PE ratio stocks, you could do like a 10 max, right? It's going to give you every stock that's in that range, right? And you can just keep going right through. And say you're like, you know what though, I kind of want a minimum dividend of whatever, 4% and a maximum of 8%. Right? And now it's going to break that down even more to those stocks that have that. So, it really can break it down for you. You can even say, you know what, I want this, and I want something in the energy sector. And it's going to break it down and give you those. As you can tell, the energy sector is not looking too good, but, whatever, financial services or basic materials or, the whole stock market's not looking too good, but, either way, So, there's different features that are nice about both of them. I use M1 Finance. It works really well for me. It does what I needed to do. I had Stash before, and I like Stash. I think it's a nice platform. It's easy to get going when you're starting. But I think that M1 Finance is a more serious platform that has better benefits for people who are more serious about investing. So as you start to learn things, you'll want to start to try to look at other platforms, look at what's going to work for you. And I'm going to say I think M1 is, for me, definitely the best. They definitely fixed their dividend issue here, where it was really a pain in the ass before to look at it. Now it's really simple and intuitive. You just go right down and see everything, and definitely a lot easier to use. So they both have research functions where you can see, here's information on the stock market, here's this, stocks, funds. Like I was saying, you can look through funds like this. You can look at your pies, your expert pies. You have a watch list, which is really cool. Stash is something similar. It has Stash Learn, and Stash Learn has little tips like how to improve your credit score, how to think like a long-term investor, what's the business roundtable, and why does it want to change capitalism. So it has all this stuff. You can learn weekly. If you enter your email address, it's going to send you a newsletter weekly, which is cool. So there is nice stuff about both of the platforms. If you guys just want to comment below which platform you think is the best platform or which one you've preferred using over these last few years, I definitely would appreciate that. So yeah, definitely keep coming back for more content. We're going to keep uploading more. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys again next time.